Morning family, Rich Malika here. I want to talk to you today a little bit about coping skills. Coping skills are the things that we utilize to reach for what we think we need. So when I'm tired and I want to keep going, when I'm anxious and I want to calm down, when I don't have any structure for a weekend, what do I reach for to reward myself, to structure my time, to meet my needs? Those are our coping strategies. So reality therapy has an awesome picture for this. They talk about a photo album, and in the photo album are the things that we reach for. And if it's not in the book, if it's not in the photo album, if we don't have a picture for it, we're not going to go for it. Especially when we're pressed, especially when it's go time. So we got to figure out what pictures we have in the book. Are they working? Are they not working? Are they helping a little? Are they giving us the opposite of what we're looking for? And what pictures do we need through repetition, through working them again and again and again and again? What pictures do we want to add to the book so that they're our reach, so that when we're pressed, that's what we go for? So to start off with, when I got sober and entered into a relationship with my higher power, I had 4 things in the book. I had speed metal, I had fried chicken and processed foods, I had relationships, friendships that weren't able to help me in that moment, and I had numbing through entertainment, through whatever I could lose myself in. That's all I had, and that wasn't going to help me up the mountain. It wasn't going to work. I would have gone back to getting high. So I had to add through repetition new pictures to the book. And I want to mix metaphors for a second. When a boxer first starts to learn how to box, a couple things are normally off. Elbows are too far out. Hands drop when they're not supposed to drop. And distance, how far my hands are from my face. If they're right up here and I get punched, So you got to train new patterns so that your hands don't drop, so that you don't go back to that familiar coping strategy, so you don't go back to the old pictures in the book. A couple things I want to start with. If you have anything that's been in your life, for me it was poetry, it was writing. If you have old stuff that you got away from, that wasn't bad, that was good, but you just lost it along the way, maybe you have to reframe it. Maybe it's not going to be playing football in front of a stadium on a Friday night, but maybe it's athletics in the way that you can do it now. Maybe it's writing, music, whatever it is, whatever used to be a thing for you that brought you life. Can you polish it off? Might not look the same, might not be for the purpose of professionalizing it, but can it help me process my energy, my pain, calm me down, bring me up, structure my time in a way that I like, that I feel good about? I don't feel like I just blew a day doing nothing. What are those things? If you don't have that, and I know plenty of people that they started getting high when they were 9, or they have experienced a life-changing event where the things that they used to do, they just can't anymore in any way. Now that's hard, because even, I remember the Titans. One of the protagonists lost the use of his legs. He still was able to compete athletically. So it takes a lot to say I can't do anything. But if that's the case, then all that means is we need to develop new ones. And I just want to suggest a few new ones to you. I'm going to use the life of Jesus Christ as a reference. Don't shut me off. I'm not going to make you get baptized by the end of this video. I'm using this as an example of evidence-based best practices, of things that science is saying these are good, do these. First one I want to say is connect to nature. We live in false environments. And science has proven that when we get out in a world without walls, and when we look at a horizon that's as far off as we can imagine, the way our minds work changes. when we get away from artificial pace, rhythm, noise, 50,000 cars, ambulance, when we get around the sound of crickets, of a creek, to those who aren't from Delaware County, here in the water, when we get around a more natural rhythm of life for a moment, it changes our internal rhythm. And that can be really helpful. It can increase the amount of possibilities we see. It can decrease anxiety. It can decrease depression. It can bring us out a little bit. So be around nature. Mindfulness. Repeatedly throughout the Gospels, Jesus will stop to see something or see someone. And everybody around is like, what are you doing? We gotta go. We're on our way. Stop. And see what's in front of you. It says in the Bible, Jesus wouldn't break a bruised reed. He saw the plant. See what's in front of you. Look at an anthill for an hour. If you hate it, fine, don't do it again. But try it. Try to just look and be mindful of little things. Reconnect to a natural rhythm. Next thing, we need some people in our lives. It doesn't have to be 100 people. 100 people is probably bad. We need a small group of people we trust. If that's one person, it's awesome. You don't have to trust them 100%. Find somebody that's a 70% trust rating. And only give them 70%. Boundary yourself. That's okay. They don't have to know your social security number and your PINs. Trust them as much as you feel comfortable trusting them. But don't go back again and again and again to familiar relationships that aren't safe, that you don't trust, that you end up getting wounded every time you talk, or that you're superficial with because can't trust them with my money or my spouse. That's going to a well that doesn't have any water. If you have people you trust in your life, awesome. Use them. If you don't, cultivate them. When I say use them, if you're out there and you're one of those people like, I don't want to bother anybody and they got a lot going on, blah, 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 help them by allowing them the opportunity to help you, to hear from you. You'll build more relationship, and they'll be thankful for it if they're truly someone you can trust. If you don't have it, it's not something you can hit and miss. You can't have somebody's phone number and then I'll call them when it gets bad. You're not going to call them. Repetition. You got to stay in contact with that person. You got to water that relationship. Because once you get hit, you're not going to call them unless your knee jerk is already there, unless it's already bred into you what to do. So you got to call them. You got to build a relationship that can handle it when you get rocked. Jesus Christ had 12 people and a few honorable mentions. Small crew. And there was a couple times when it was only a couple of them. So you have your little inner circle. If you're in recovery meetings, you have your sponsor, you have your couple guys or a couple girls that you're tight. And then you have your larger crew. Maybe 5, maybe 10, maybe 12. And then you got the whole crew, the whole place. And you trust them at a level that goes deeper the smaller we go. So that's the second coping strategy. We need relational support. Prayer and meditation. I already talked about meditation, mindfulness, connecting to natural rhythms, being present in the moment. Prayer, talk about it. Now, if you're not a prayer, then just talk, just write, just communicate it, get it out. Acknowledging it just to yourself is therapeutic. Acknowledging it out loud, taking away the shame of it, taking away our own desire to distance from what we do know. We don't want to know what we know all the time. Get it out. If you're like me and you believe in a higher power, God of my understanding, communicate it to them. And there's benefit to that. But if you don't, just communicating it, just getting it out, purging yourself, is cathartic and reframing of our perspective. So those are the coping skills that I want to submit to you. A couple warning signs. Halt. Hungry, angry, lonely, tired. If you're too hungry, then you're going to reach for coping strategies that are good or bad. So be aware of when you're hungry. Work in repetition. I didn't have salad in my photo album. I like salad. I put fried chicken strips on it and honey mustard and whatever. Harm reduction model. I couldn't eat a salad because it wasn't in my toolbox. It wasn't in my photo album. I had to work it into the book so that when I was stressed and I wanted something to eat, a salad with some chicken fingers on it sounded amazing. But even though I like a salad, I had to repetitiously add it. So be aware when we're hungry, and then be mindful and repetitious in what we want to feed ourselves. Food is medicine. I feel better after I eat that salad than if I eat, a bucket of the Colonel's original. Angry. How do I channel my energy? A lot of people come home, take it out on their families. Bad coping strategy. Hurts people who don't deserve to be hurt. Makes us feel guilt and shame. So how do I channel my energy? Do I take it out running the treadmill? Do I take it out verbalizing it to my friend and complaining? What do I do physically, verbally to get it out? What do I do to soothe myself when I'm at that heightened fight-flight level? Do I take a shower? Do I do yoga? What do you do? Answer that question for yourself. What soothes you and what helps you channel? Lonely. We will go back to broken relationships that don't satisfy our needs in lieu of nothing. We're communal creatures. We don't do well in a void. It is not good for humans to be alone. So if it's not helping us to go back to the damaged relationship that only makes me feel like crap, if I'm not getting what I need from my family in terms of affirmation or understanding, if I'm going to, the metaphor I use is it's going to Taco Bell and asking for cheeseburgers. My family doesn't have it to give. Taco Bell doesn't make burgers. So what people, what social situations can I add? The bar is easy. It also isn't helpful or sustainable or real. Neither's the crack house. Neither's pornography. They're not meeting our needs for connection. So how do we meet our needs for connection? We have to work at it when we're not lonely, because we won't reach for the healthy things. We'll reach for what we have in the book, whether it helps us or not. Tired. If you're working 86 jobs, if you have brand new kids, you still have to take care of your star player, baby. How do you do that? If that means boundarying work, even though you really want to pay that bill off, you have to sleep, you have to rest. It's not sustainable. You will work at a fever pace, and then when you get a day off, you'll reach for every negative thing in the world. Or you'll get injured, or you'll have mental health symptoms creep up, then interrupt the whole thing anyway. So boundary your sleep. New parents, hard to do that, right? So a couple things. When the kid's sleeping, sleep. I know you want to do the dishes. I know they're probably stuck together at this point. You gotta sleep. If you trust people, legit trust people. I don't trust people when it comes to my kids. If you trust people with your kids, have them watch your kids while you get some rest. If you don't trust people with your kids, trust them with your dishes, so that you feel better taking a nap when your kid's sleeping. Some suggestions. I'm going to close this in prayer. Creator, thank you for my brothers, my sisters, my non-binary family, please bless us today that we can have new things in our lives or refresh things in our lives that connect us to peace and joy and hope and our daily bread. Bless us today that we can see things fresh and that we can reach out for the things that are helpful, that are healthy. Teach us how to live in those things. And the things that only bring death or only bring anxiety or only bring depression or only bring wounding. Bless us that we can have comfort in releasing them to you so that we can receive the new life that we have, that you offer us. We offer ourselves to you. In your name, amen. I love you guys. Thank you so much.